Hi, and welcome to the Future of Development podcast. My name's Anthony Amunategui, and I'm here to inspire people to find amazing careers in the construction development world. If you like our podcast, please make sure you hit the subscribe button down below. If you really like our podcast, make sure you hit the little bell. Jeff, welcome to the show. We're excited about having OpenSpace on here. You know, as we get into more and more technology around construction, brands like you are changing the way that we can see things. And I spent a lot of time really researching your company now, and it blows me away to take it from one model to another one. So I'm really glad to have you on the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm very, very, very excited about this opportunity.
You know, as I look at construction and being able to tell a story much clearer, taking a 2D model, and then as we continue to work through and see it start to grow and develop, and then communicate to the team our progress. As I look at OpenSpace, it does that really, really well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and that's really what we want to do for our customers. We want to be able to make things very simple, fast, and easy, and be able to basically give them a complete record of their job site. And so, we're able to provide a very easy capture process. Virtually there's no training needed, and you can just go out and capture automatically. And then once you're done capturing, you get this Google Street View style of your job site that you can click around and be able to kind of jump around between time. It's basically a time machine. You can jump back a week ago, you could jump back a month ago, years ago, and basically see what was there, what wasn't there, and really be that single source of truth to be able to come to dispute resolution. And yeah, it's a great product.
That single source of truth, right? That is what we're always looking for. We're looking to see, that construction jobs forever were very in the dark, right? You kind of got the day you started and then the day you end, and then operations was kind of forced to figure out everything about it for the next 20 years. And now as you look at it, being able to walk through the project, I think it's great. You can stand in one spot and on a drawing or pitch photo, and then be able to look through its progression, right? Watch as the studs went down and as the mechanicals got laid out, and see exactly where everything's at see through a wall. And
correct.
I think that to me is that's what we're always looking for, right? So later on, when someone comes to work in this building, they know exactly what's inside that wall. So when we're looking to do something or change something or affect something, it's not this, I opened a wall and now I found Jimmy Hoffa. Now I can open a wall and I know exactly what's in there. I know what to expect. I know exactly, I can see it before I start anything.
Yeah, exactly. There's no destructive investigation needed. So yeah, it's a great way to solve problems very quickly and very easily. Definitely.
I think the next part that it's kind of fun is how easy it is, right? You guys have made this. Very much what I loved about Apple was it changed the way I looked at technology. It made it so much easier, and I feel like you guys are the same way. The way you've made this happen, it's a very easy process. It's not something that takes an engineering degree or hours and hours of training. It's a very easy process to get up and running and start to operate this in the field.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and all you really need is basically a simple off-the-shelf 360 camera and a smartphone, and that's basically it. You just need those two things, and you bring it out to your job site, and you on your smartphone you basically open up the OpenSpace app, and you choose where you're standing in the floor plan one time. You're not constantly picking your points over and over. You choose it one time, you hit start, and then you just walk. And you basically forget that you're even capturing the job site. You could go about your daily tasks. You could, go look at the progress of whatever you need to go, towards an area. If you need to see the progress of that area, you can just go there mindlessly and not worry so much about this. Oh yeah, I got to take this photo. I got to make sure I capture this. And then once you're done, you basically just hit stop. You don't have to say where you are in the floor plan. And then, you basically upload it to the cloud, and then you can view it, and you get this 360-degree viewable format, like Google Street View.
I think that's the part that makes it fun, right? Most technologies I've learned, and we've tried to execute across our companies, is that it gets stuck in the training, right?
Mm-hmm.
And bad once we get started wrong, it feels like we buy these 300-pound gorilla softwares, or these things we get that are great, they're phenomenal, but the problem is that we never train more than the 25 pounds of it, and then people get frustrated, and then it sits on a shelf and nobody uses them, and it becomes kind of then you've got this really expensive thing on the shelf that gets that's kind of wasted.
Right. Yeah. And it just becomes very inefficient. And, part of the other thing also is talking about inefficiencies is just the actual capture process. When we started using OpenSpace, we were actually also using another competitor product. And in talking about inefficiencies, this other competitor product, we constantly had to basically, select our standing location in the floor plan over and over in their app. So, I would walk to a location, I'd find it in the floor plan, I would, pinpoint it, and then I'd raise the camera, take a photo, I'd walk another maybe 5 to 10 feet, find my position again on the floor plan. Doing this over and over just becomes very tedious, very inefficient. And so when I saw, OpenSpace, because we were piloting this competitor product. And so when I heard about OpenSpace, at first I thought, oh, it's another 360 solution. I'm probably not even really interested in if it does exactly the same thing. But when I saw the demo, the first thing I saw was automated capture, and right when I saw it, I thought, wow, this is like magic. Like how does like how does this work? Like I was shocked. Yeah, I really couldn't believe it, because at this time I was probably already using this competitor product for about, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks. So I got really comfortable with the process, with the manual process of going to the job site, standing in one location, selecting that point, and then just doing that repetitively over and over. And so when I saw that you could do it, through an automated process, and you could just walk, I thought, wow, okay, we definitely have to give this a shot. And we did time comparisons as well between the two, and we ended up going with OpenSpace.
Well, we've done the same thing, right? We've gone through different technologies, and a lot of 360 cameras. It's setting it up, right? Doing a circle. And by the way, everybody's got to run because we're going to get ready to hit the button. Now everybody's got to get out of the picture, right? Because if anybody's in the picture, it looks like some sort of space movement happening. So everybody's got to get out of the picture, and then it becomes this. It's very time. Every one of the shots takes a few minutes to get done. Even the guys who are great at it, being able to walk around. When I saw this, that you can literally just put it on, turn it on, and walk around and do this. That's a game changer, right? Imagine we sometimes do thousands of these scans. We do, when we go out and do surveys for remodel programs for big brands, we're out doing this on thousands of projects, and or maybe even hundreds. As I say, it's hundreds of projects, and you figure that it's time consuming. If a crew can only go out and do 1 or 2 a night, that becomes really time consuming. Now, with a product this, you can walk through a project so much faster.
Right, exactly. And also, like, you could have anyone do it. You don't have to hire or schedule a very specific person to go do these walks. You can give it to your supers, your project managers, your project engineers, because whoever's out there, they could help with the capture process. You don't have to give them, okay, I need you to go out to the site and spend 8 hours just capturing the job site. If you just give the camera to someone, have them walk, do whatever they normally do, but just capture in the background, basically, you get all the image data that you need to be successful.
Well, let's talk about that. So how do you get it set up? So let's say, okay, we decided to do this today and we want to execute it. What's the training? Let's kind of take the audience through the list of what happens when you put the product out there. So how do we get started? What's the process? We go and buy a camera, I'm guessing, somewhere, and I see on your website you've got all kinds of cameras that you can pick from.
Yeah. We support, we just support a couple cameras, and you could go out and buy any one of those cameras, or you could buy one of the cameras from us. We also offer that. But yeah, you basically just get the camera, you get the hard hat with a little accessory of like this little magnet that goes onto the top of it with a little sticky. And then all we need from you is basically just a set of drawings for whatever you want to capture for your project. So if your project had, levels 1 through 5, we would just need all those sheets from you. And then you could upload it to OpenSpace. And then all you do is you download the app onto your phone or your, mobile device. If it's an iPad or something like that. And then again, no training. All you do is you go out to the site, you open up the app, and then you turn on the camera. You select where in the floor plan, you select the sheet that you want to capture wherever you're standing, and you select your starting point one time, you hit start, and then you walk. Again, no training at all. You walk through that level, and then whenever you're ready to stop capturing, you just hit stop. And then you could either do a mobile upload right from where you are, or sometimes if it's a longer walk, it might make more sense to go back to your desk and just plug it in. And there's this little desktop sync app that you can download and have that basically share it to the cloud. And then it goes through this processing. OpenSpace does this processing of those images of whatever you captured. And then once that processing is done, you get that, again, 360 Google Street View style of your project. And that processing, it takes no more than maybe 15 minutes. Maybe for the first capture, so it might take 30 minutes or so, depending on the size of the capture. But with OpenSpace, this vision engine that's constantly learning and constantly improving, becoming more and more efficient at processing this data, eventually something that took 30 minutes, maybe it can come down to being processed in 15 minutes or less. And yeah, again, all of that requires no training on your part. All you do is you need the app, you need the camera, you just need to know where you're starting, and then you just walk. And then that's really it.
Well, I, I'm technologically inept, and it's always funny when they come in my office and they're like, "Yeah, all you have to do is this," and I miss it. So I'm the guy that causes probably more of the problems. So having something that's simple, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for it, and some of the superintendents. We have great superintendents all around the country, and they're all different variety of technology, proficiency, and we're looking for technologies that we can execute quickly. Now, talk to me about it. So if right now we do these 360 pictures, and being able to add that on to the system where they can walk around every day and then upload that to the daily report, right? How big is that file when they're done? I'm guessing it depends on how long they are, but the average file for a platform.
Yeah, again, it's not a big deal as long as you're capturing and not spending maybe if one capture, you probably want to chop it up if it gets a little too long. But I've done captures maybe 45 minutes to an hour long, and they still process really quickly, no problem. So maybe if you were to capture for like 24 hours straight, then maybe we'd start to get into some longer processing times. But again, yeah, any walk that you do should be fairly easily processed.
Well, that's kind of funny. So if you're using this continuously, right? If they use this, are you able to do that? Are you able to walk around 24 hours a day and have this on? And if you go back to the same room and it's updated again, does it show that every time you go back through the update from the last time you're there?
24 hours is probably a lot, but yeah, each time that you do take a capture, it does update. It does update the most recent, so that whatever you're viewing is the most recent, and then you could jump back to the latest capture, whether that latest capture was a day ago or even if it was just 30 minutes ago. Whatever is the most recent is what you'll see, and then you could jump backwards.
Well, that's awesome. We were checking out some Spot the Robotic Dog the other day, the Boston Dynamic dog, and I can just imagine this thing being on Spot, walking around a job site, capturing this data. It'd be kind of fun to see that Spot carrying the camera and capturing the 3D picture. It'd be a great publicity stunt. So there's one for the team. How'd you end up over at OpenSpace? I mean, how did when you think about it? I mean, how'd you end up over there?
Yeah, so it's funny. I majored in civil engineering, and so I focused in it was what was most exciting to me at the time. Actually, if I really think back on
Wait,
it,
wait, wait. Civil engineering was exciting to you at the time.
yeah, yeah, and so I'm gonna give a little bit of backstory to that. So yeah, when I was a kid, I still remember driving with my dad near the Golden Gate Bridge, and I remember thinking, I was like, I was, of course, amazed by this structure, and I remembered asking him, how is that bridge like standing there? Like when it goes in the water, is it like floating on the water? And then he kind of laughed, and so, ever since then, I kind of always had this curious mindset about the built world, about physical space. And then he's like, oh yeah, maybe, my dad said you'd probably want to go into like some type of like math or like science, engineering. And I thought, okay. And so I've always had an interest in those fields. And so, going to college, I was like, okay, I've always been interested again in the built world. I said, okay, I'm gonna give civil engineering a shot. And then I really did enjoy it. And then I found a high interest in structural engineering. And that originally coming out of college, that's what I did. I landed at a firm that did structural engineering. I did that for a few months. And then unfortunately, there was some staff restructuring. So I had to be let go. But then, I decided to kind of open up my net of looking of, where I want to kind of work at. And so instead of just focusing on structural, I decided, okay, maybe I should widen that net to include construction. And I'm glad I did because if I had never tried it, then I would have never known. But falling into construction, I actually ended up really liking the work, the whole aspect of coordination, communicating with subcontractors, and then just actually seeing the project get built was really exciting, and it made me really enjoy my job. And during this whole process of kind of going through construction, I've always seen and always heard of these tech companies. Being born and raised in the Bay Area, you always hear about Google, you hear about Facebook. I had a couple of friends that work for these tech companies. They're like, oh yeah, I love my job so much, and we have all these great benefits. And then it made me think like, oh, maybe I chose the wrong major, maybe I'm in the wrong line of work. I was like, yeah, I don't think Google would ever just outright hire a civil engineer to just do civil engineering work. But I thought, eventually in the last maybe 5 to 7 years, I started to really see construction tech companies kind of pop up. And so eventually I kind of came to this conclusion, maybe if I can't work, or maybe the transition for me to get into tech is through construction tech. And so I thought, all right, this was maybe, I don't know, 2017, I thought this. And I thought, okay, I need to find a way to kind of navigate my career towards construction tech. And I thought, how do I do that? And at the time, when I was working for a smaller general contractor, we weren't even using any construction tech on our projects, very old school. And that's how it is for a lot of companies. So
Yeah,
I thought,
right.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, but
you know,
that's the thing that's most exciting, is that forever this has been an archaic business, right? And today, this lagging industry is ripe, right? I mean, you're right on. I mean, this is the most exciting time ever to be in construction. The dinosaurs that are here are slowly breeding themselves out, and you know what, there'll always be a spot for them to be around. But the amount of stuff that's happening now with exactly what you're talking about, coming in with the new blood, looking at it in a whole nother way. I mean, like the way that OpenSpace is looking at a job site took, what was the most, at one point we did Polaroids, right? And then we
right.
thought, oh, we got these digital cameras. Now we're different. Now you're seeing it in 3D and being able to do layers of it, watching the progression of it. When I look at your the technology that you're bringing to it, you could very quickly see you're taking the physical world and digitally monitoring it. And that right there, you could start to see is the basic DNA of the path of the future, really where this is going. And the amount of money that's being put into construction tech today has never been more. There's billions of dollars being raised right now to fund all kinds of great construction technologies. now more than ever is the exact time to be in construction. If you want to be, you want to be a construct. If you like construction, like you do and I do. I mean, I love construction. I love the physical part of building something and the instant gratification watching it build. But then taking the technology to it and that part of make it happen faster, smarter, better, quicker. Get out of the archaic way of doing this. That's fun. I think you hit the nail right on the spot. I can see why you got it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And at the time, I think at the time of making that decision to try to transition over, I thought, I think I saw a glimpse of that. And I just saw, so much opportunity. And that's what it was. It was the opportunity to be able to change how we do construction. And so, I decided, okay, if I'm at a company that's not using any construction tech, I'm going to move to a larger company that does use this tech. And so when I did move over, anytime that I had the opportunity to try out construction tech, I volunteered. Okay, yeah, let me try this. Let me try this program out. I'll give feedback, and then we could try it on the job site. If it works, great. If it doesn't, then we learn something. And then eventually, using more and more construction tech, having OpenSpace do a demo, I thought, okay, yeah, this, again, I wanted to take it on, and it worked out. It's crazy to think that them doing that demo for us is kind of what led me here. Because when they did the demo, I thought, again, this is magic. Like, this is such a great product. I could think of, yeah, that's basically one of two basically defining moments of me in my career and OpenSpace is two things. Yeah, one is that, okay, that initial demo, okay, this project or this product is amazing. We need to use it. The second one was when OpenSpace released ClearSight, which is automated progress tracking. Up until right before they released it, I was already, all for OpenSpace. I thought this is a great product. It's great to be able to kind of go through Google Street View. But one of the things that our project exec and some of the VPs were wondering, I was like, okay, yeah, you have all this image data, but like, what do you do with it? Is it just marketing? And ClearSight is what you do with it. It's that next step. And so when I saw this ClearSight product, this automated progress tracking, I thought, wow, this is the future. This is the future of construction. This is really, that's when I said to myself, all right, if I was ever thinking of joining OpenSpace and, kind of feeling out, maybe I should join OpenSpace, but I should join these other construction tech companies, that was that defining moment of where I said to myself, okay, this is the company I need to work for. I need to try and, go towards that direction. And when the opportunity came up to join them, I definitely took it.
Well, so we're going to get into next ClearSight. I think the ClearSight is, the open space technology that really, where you can monitor is great. Now, ClearSight is the AI portion. Right now, this is where you start to monitor construction progress. Let's talk a little bit about that and how all that works.
Yeah. So actually, the whole AI part of OpenSpace really stems from our core product. And that's what really helps with, the computer vision, the machine learning, the SLAM technology, which is, all things that are being used in like self-driving cars. So that AI portion is what helps speed up the processing time. What ClearSight is, it basically makes use of what we have from our core product, which is, again, just that 360 viewable format. So we take all that image data, and then we give you something that you could take action on by giving you, progress percent complete on a specific type of trade. And we're basically calling them trackers. So the way it works is if you want to, purchase ClearSight, or if you want to enable ClearSight on your project, what you do is you basically state which type of tracker, for an example, like let's use like a wall tracker, for like metal studs, drywall. So we would have this tracker that can track the progress of that very thing. So if you said, okay, I'm going to purchase this wall tracker, we'll tell you, after you do a capture, we'll tell you, okay, now, in this area or on this level, you're 20% framed in. And now, after the next capture, all right, now you have 40% of your drywall hung. Okay, next time now you have 40% of your drywall taped. So we give you a percent complete, basically a status update without you having to go out there and do it yourself, manually. The other thing also is like you with OpenSpace is you can rely on the product to basically help you do work that you don't, that your brain can't always remember.
That's the helper, right? That's where the next generation of AI really does start to, people are all afraid, oh my God, AI is going to take over the world. Look, I mean, just being able to get all the stuff that we miss on a given day, right? Having a partner, an AI partner that can, here as I walk around the site and monitor it, then I can get my percent complete. I can communicate that to my project management team. Who can communicate that to the accounting department, so that as we're billing, as we're tracking, as we're looking at pay applications, all that stuff that goes dark, and it's this like this game that people do all day long. It's really kind of ineffective. It misses that opportunity to really get more detail. So this technology now takes it and can now look at percent complete. How many different trackers can you put on a project?
So we we do have a couple as our base base ClearSight product. I think we started originally with wall trackers. We have a ceiling tracker. We also do electrical, now mechanical. I think a couple of the more recent ones was concrete and a door tracker. I know we're constantly working on more and more trackers. So I know I also heard a flooring tracker is coming up soon. So yeah, it's something that we're just continually developing to continue to, again, improve the ClearSight product and give customers the option to track their entire project, basically.
Well, and this is what I tell contractors, now more than ever, it's time to jump in. If they're not started with a technology like this today, right here, even where you're at today, what's coming, I can see where you're heading with this. I mean, for me, being around this business for so long, and then getting an interview with you guys and spend the time with brands, I can really see how fast this is accelerating, right? The being able to be able to capture this as fast as you can capture it. Just a couple of years ago, taking 3D pictures on a job site was like, oh my God, this was, you had to have a special camera crew, and it was a big deal. Now today, you can clip this on your hard hat, walk around a job site, clip it to your laptop, upload on your daily report. That's an easy one. Now to have the same exact capture, be able to give me percent complete, you can see very quickly where this is going, right? The ability for it to get smarter and smarter. And what I tell guys is, like, they don't realize that if they don't jump in now, if they don't start their teams thinking this way, that the jump between where they are and where this industry is going is going to be so great, they're going to be left in the dust. It's going to be, it's time today more than ever to start playing and getting in the field of more technology, getting tools like this started in your group, get it part of your workflow, make it an easy one. Not just that, your customers are going to expect it. And if you're not, if anything, it's going to hit your bottom line, because if you're not doing this technology and your competitors are, and you're communicating to an owner that much clearer about progress, and seeing, and communicating to the entire team, the architectural team, the ownership team, everybody gets to see a 360 picture in that detail, and the exact progress and exact percent complete. It just really does set you apart from where what's available to you, and it's time now to do it, or you're going to be so far behind you'll never catch up.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think people, again, kind of what you said earlier, people are maybe afraid that we're trying to replace people on the job site, and that's not it at all with this technology or AI. We're really, again, just basically giving you an additional superintendent, or maybe 5 additional superintendents that can help out.
Well, I mean, nowadays with margins being the way they are, this whole idea that you're replacing someone, maybe sometimes I need the help. We're so tight on every budget that we have. It'd be great to be able to have everything we want, but the truth is we can't. And construction, we work really, really hard, right? This world is built by, some very hardworking people. If you look around this country, the cities and the towns that we have were built by hardworking construction people. Very proud to see the work, and our industry does amazing work, right? The homes and the factories and the buildings that we live in and work in were built by construction workers, right? Somewhere on this, we work hard for this, and anything that we can do to make their lives a little bit easier, a little bit more organized, to be able to communicate to the team a little bit better. Ultimately, what it does is it ekes out another percent of value for us, which ultimately means more money in our pocket, right? The construction team can communicate. If my superintendent doesn't take 12 hours to do a job, that they can focus, and not only that, they can focus on the things that are going to add value to the project. If going around capturing pictures takes 2 hours of a superintendent's time, what are they missing during that time? What's the stuff we communicate? How many, what's the stuff that needs to happen tomorrow or the next 2 weeks? That really what I want superintendents looking at is I want them looking 2-3 weeks ahead, looking at a schedule. I want project managers looking further than that, right? I'm asking them to really make sure that they're heads up. When our superintendents are heads down on task-oriented stuff, it makes we're missing some management opportunity to really affect everybody on that job. Every sub that shows up on our job sites gets affected when our supers are not able to be heads up looking at the future, kind of really painting the picture and really orchestrating what's happening on there. And the clearer I can be with them, if I can communicate with all the subs, the architectural team, the ownership team, a lot clearer, that ultimately makes everybody more profitable.
Yeah, exactly. I think, you hit it right on the head. That visual context is just so powerful because it allows you to make decisions right away. And I've seen it happen in the field, during a meeting, just having OpenSpace open on the screen with whoever you're talking to, it just helps, 10 times more. So, I remember one time someone was saying, oh yeah, I don't know if this portion of the curb was installed. All right, let's check OpenSpace, let's check OpenSpace and see if it was. And right from there, we were able to check it. Okay, no, it wasn't installed yet. All right, now that we know that was installed, let's make this next decision. If without OpenSpace, that decision would have been prolonged. So it would have said, okay, we would have said, all right, so we don't know if it's installed. Let's talk to this super and get them to check. That super will probably hand it off to maybe an assistant super, maybe get someone else to check. And it could be another day or two before they do check. And then by the time that they check, they got to either, email you, text you, and then that could take another day or so until you see that. And then you say, okay, now that I know that information, now it's taken maybe 4 or 5 days until you make a decision. But with OpenSpace, again, just being able to make decisions right away on the spot is just so powerful in saving time.
It's that one source of truth, right? I love when you said that is what we're all looking for, and it's not just the project management and the owner, right? When the engineers can look at it. We just had a case where a 3D picture saved us having pipes exposed on a wall, right? Where we would have closed up a wall and then it'd been too late to get back into it. And there was an RPZ valve under a sink. And the engineer looked at it and said, oh, listen, you're missing the drain for that RPZ valve. And what happens typically is that RPZ valve goes in afterwards, and then the drain that goes from there to the little drip drain that goes on that ends up being exposed, and it just makes a perfect kitchen not so perfect. And he caught it on there, and it just look, just put it back in the wall, come back out, and do it properly. And all of a sudden, it became a no-brainer, and really upgrade that kitchen. Because now for the next 20, if you don't do it right, for the next 20 years, you got to mop around that thing, and ultimately junk gets caught underneath it, all the stuff that happens, and it's just a perfect kitchen isn't achieved. So being able to communicate that to everybody in the team, that one source of truth, that's phenomenal. That's what everybody's looking for, is to be able to communicate much faster and much clearer, so everybody can support that. And that's where same thing happens on the backside, having clear sight, be able to see percent complete when the accounting team's going, hey, I got a pay application from this person. That process can be really time consuming. By the time the pay application comes in for the sub, it goes back out to the project management team. The project manager sends it to the superintendent, has to take pictures and document that, and then get that back into the process so that pay application gets paid. that may, that may delay everybody. And ultimately what we want is that to be ease of use, right? In the course of work that happens. And then when that pay application comes in, it gets processed quickly and the money gets back up to the sub, because ultimately our subs go where the money is, right? If they're getting paid quickly, that's where they want to work, right? And it makes everybody in the job's life that much better. So, I bravo to you. And you said something before about jumping and having a couple of jobs when you were younger. I think that's something that's really valuable. When a lot of people, I was just out in Florida, and it's where I grew up. And I was with some friends that went down there for the weekend to go fishing with me. And we drove around a bunch over the weekend. And I'm like, yeah, I worked over there. And then I worked over there. And I worked over here. And I worked over there. And you're like, man, you had a lot of jobs. I'm like, I think one of the most valuable things I did, it was never bad. It was always, hey, I would tell the owner, hey, look, I'm going to try this on. I'm going to work my ass off for you. And I did. I never not, I remember I worked for a pool company, and I went in there and I doubled the guy's revenue. But I was like, I'm not going to do this for a career. I just really want to learn it. I loved learning new stuff and adding value, and then realize I would say to them, look, I would tell you in advance, this is what I'm going to do. I'm not going to leave you, but I'm going to move on somewhere else. But I want to learn this. I want to master this, because somewhere in that was the best learning I ever got. And I think that just as you described before, for those young students that are out there that are really engaged in wanting to, to become a civil engineer, but great. Now I want to go work for construction. Great. Now I want to work for a tech company. Great. Every one of those opportunities, when you're in it, master what you're at. If someone says, hey, I'm going to come and do a demo for a software, great. Then here, I'll be the master of that for the company. And then all of a sudden now you're working for the company, and man, you have got an insight on this brand really, really well. I mean, the way you speak about it, it's clearly you have a clear vision of it, and it's easy to understand. So, that only came because you worked it, right? You knew it, and you knew the product really well.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's all a learning process. And you have to, also be, kind of forgiving to yourself. You should never feel like, even if you do feel like you're stuck, you shouldn't say, okay, well, now what, like I'm a failure. You should never, think that way. You should think, okay, well, I've learned this. And, now I'm kind of interested in going this direction. What can I do to get there? What can I try? And I must have tried multiple different directions. And if any of those directions came to a dead end, that's completely okay. Because then I learned something from going that direction. And then now I could tell myself, okay, well, this didn't work. Now let me try this. And then maybe it'll get me closer and closer. I remember, I think when I wanted to join OpenSpace, it was 2019. I didn't join the company till 2021. So it took me 2 years of basically navigating my career to be able to eventually make that move over. And that's okay. That's my own journey. Everyone has their own journey. But it's really about just, learning through the process and being okay that you're learning and constantly, changing and adapting. And that's what it's all about.
My first job, I went from a junior PM to, I was actually a facilities manager at a company, and I was at Discovery Zone, these playgrounds for kids. And they made me a facilities manager. And I wanted a job at Boston Market. I called that guy every single day, every day, every single day. I would write him an email and I would call him, and I was relentless, right? I wanted the shot. And I think the guy literally said, I'll give you a job if you stop calling me. And he goes, look, if you're this relentless about the job, maybe you'll be that way about running the project. And he did it. And I got so much great value out of working for that company. And, I just loved it. And then they promoted me and they continue to grow. And I just, every time they gave me a step to go somewhere, I just took it on like it was mine. And, that was fun. It was fun to really develop and, watch where that went. So, kudos to you and the entire OpenSpace team. You guys have something fun going on, and I hope we highlighted it well. Audience members, if you guys want to if they want to get a hold of you and get a demo for themselves or get into your product, what's the best way for them to get a hold of you?
Yeah, if you want to get a hold of me personally, you could email jeff@openspace.ai. The other way to get a demo is just to go on our website and request one.
That's awesome. And so the website is openspace.com.
OpenSpace.ai.
.ai. I'm sorry. So OpenSpace, OpenSpace.ai. And Jeff, as you guys continue to develop, please come back and share more of this development with us. I mean, your whole team has been a pleasure to work with, and you certainly know what you're talking about. And brother, I am grateful to have you on here. Anytime you want to come back and show off some of your new adventures.
Yeah, of course. Thank you, Anthony, for, again, this opportunity. You really did just make this enjoyable and fun for me, and no stress at all. So yeah, I would love to come back anytime.
Awesome. Thanks.
Thanks for joining us. My name is Anthony Amunategui, always looking for people to bring insight into the industry, finding ways to inspire people to have amazing careers in the development world. If you liked our podcast, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below. If you really liked our podcast, make sure you hit the little bell. Thanks again for listening. Please share it with your friends.